Um, this was the only place with really good lighting. The other places in the house are so dark right now. It's raining outside and it's miserable. And I wanted to get this video up for you. So I hope the acoustics are okay in here. This is the tub. It's lovely, isn't it? This is ridiculous. Oh well. You'll bear with me because you love me and it's fine. Okay, so I'm going to do some of the questions and answers that were asked. And yeah, here we go. Are you ready? There's no order to these, I'm just reading them as they come. Rocker Jam asks, what's your favorite joke? What's my favorite joke? I really don't have a short one that I could tell you, and most of them are pretty dirty. But there was one that made me laugh on Portobello Road a couple months ago. It was this little plaque that you put in the kitchen, and it says, I'm on the gin diet. And the woman's like, oh, really? You're on the gin diet? She's like, yeah, I've lost 2 days. Very funny. Yes, I know. You can pay me for the joke after. Okay. Smart Linkage says, what is the source of your inspiration and positive attitude in spite of everything you've gone through? Was your divorce a complete surprise for you, or did you see it coming? I ask this because my divorce was a complete surprise for me. I can do a more detailed version of this question or answer, but I'm going to do it short because I have a lot to get through. The source of my positive inspiration, I don't have inspiration necessarily that keeps me positive. It's more about coming from a place of gratitude. I think gratitude is the birthplace of any kind of positive life. There's been studies shown that people that come from a place of gratitude in their life and express gratitude in things they do every day live a less stressed life. They have a better environment around them, and they suffer from less depression. Gratitude has been linked to mental health, just the way that you look at the world around you and come from a place of gratitude, which I believe is love. Then you are so much more able to live a positive life. I'm going to do an in-depth video on this, but it's not one thing in particular. It's a choice that I make every day, and I fail sometimes, but I try to have as much compassion for myself and other people when I do fail at being positive or handling situations with less than positive attitude. Was my divorce a complete surprise for me? No. But yes, at the same time, at the time that it happened, absolutely yes. What's the one thing you're most proud of? The one thing I am most proud of, God, that's hard to put. One thing that I am most proud of. I'm proud of a lot of stuff that I've done in my life, and I think that the older that I get, I'm proud of not being as hard on myself and other people as I used to be. I'm proud of how far I've come in the last year. I'm proud of the fact that I can say honestly that I'm a good person and I'm a nice person. And even though sometimes I don't feel like it, I can definitely say that I'm proud to be a good person. True story. Sorry, some of these are just comments. As a survivor already having B cancer, do you have any fear of a reoccurrence? If so, how are you dealing with that and trying to move on mentally? I think anybody having gone through cancer will always fear a reoccurrence. I try not to let it control my mind. It comes in as a thought and I push it out straight away because I honestly will not ever be able to control if I get cancer again or not. And rather than worry about it all the time, I choose to not. It is scary sometimes when you hear about these cancer survivors in the news and then they relapse and they die and they're also young. There was something about Katherine Jenkins, the famous opera singer. Her friend was battling cervical cancer for 6 years and finally succumbed earlier this year. And that definitely sort of sends you a bit of a jolt. So yeah, I mean, I can't say that I don't think about it, but I don't allow myself to put too much energy into that because I believe the very thing you fear, you create. With little bits and pieces, when I just came out of remission, when I had a heart palpitation or my lower back hurt, my first thought I would always go in to see a doctor because I would always be scared of a relapse. And I don't think that's something that necessarily goes away. Maybe it lessens a little more year to year. But, it's a traumatic experience going through cancer. And I can't honestly say right now that it isn't on my mind, but it's not as much as it could be. And I'm not depriving myself of any of those feelings. I have them, I deal with them, and I move them on because I'm just so happy to be here right now. And what's the point of worrying about things that you really have no control over? It's pointless. It's pointless. Okay. Cara Halford asks, draw on one thing that makes you happy beyond belief. Hanging out with really good friends, hanging out with really good people, chocolate, roller coasters, having an amazing day with friends, with people that you love, just little stuff, life stuff, nothing really in particular. Marla, hi Marla, she asks, what are some of your hobbies or any random facts that we would not have guessed about you? Hobbies. I love to run. I like Pilates. I love rollerblading. I don't get a chance to do it that often. Snowboarding. I love snowboarding. I love random facts? I can sing. I can play chopsticks on the piano. I'm a good cook. I love cooking. I love cooking. I love cooking. I love cooking. All right. I feel like these answers aren't really that exciting, but anyway. Jules asks, you're the best. Tell me how much it was fun making this video. So she's talking about my happy video. It was so much fun, and I didn't realize it would get the attention that it got. And now when I hear that song on the radio, it just feels like my anthem, and it couldn't be more truthful because I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. So I think I'll always love that song. What was the one food you couldn't possibly handle? This is still Jules, by the way, that you couldn't possibly handle / stand during chemo, but you were so happy to want to have again. Love you too, Jules. During chemo, because I had a metallic taste in my mouth the entire time, no food tastes good. And even though I craved a cheeseburger or something really indulgent and junky, when I would bite into it, it would taste gross, or macaroni cheese or anything. So honestly, once chemo finished, and literally within 2 days of chemo finishing, food tasted the same again. And I promised myself when I got out of chemo, I was going to go to Earl's, which is a restaurant in Vancouver, and have their Bronx burger, which is a huge burger with 2 onion rings on the top, a side of fries, and a chocolate milkshake. And I did, and it was amazing. The word orgasm comes to mind, quite frankly. Yep. Carrie Ann Livingston, who is one of my best friends ever, and I'm going to put a link to her video blog below. She's a life coach, and she is amazing and could definitely help anybody that struggles with loving themselves and being positive all the time, especially going through something like cancer. But she asked, what is it like being inspirational, fun, and amazing? It's been amazing, the inspirational impact that these videos have had, and the biggest gift and surprise. And thank you for thinking I'm fun and amazing. I think I can be fun, and I think I am pretty amazing. Thank you, Carrie Ann. I think she was being more complimentary than actually asking a question, but thank you. Oops, shoot. Sorry, I'm trying to get through these questions, blah, 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 blah. These are some really nice comments, my dears. You've totally made me smile. Congrats on the happy. Dear Rebecca, you were so adorable. It was very sweet seeing you happy. Okay, what is the name of the song you were dancing to? It's called Happy, and it's by Pharrell. And when you said you were being sexually active again, is there a new beau in your life? So what I think you're referring to is the video I made in October, at the end of October, coming out of treatment and what my doctor said in terms of sex. And so when I came out of treatment, I got together with a guy that I used to date years ago, who we're still very good friends with, and basically got together to see if the equipment was still working, and it worked, and it was fine. And I'm so glad that I got to experience that with him just after treatment, because I didn't want to go into a relationship not knowing what I was working with, because it's already hard enough going into a relationship at the beginning and being nervous about the first time you guys have sex and all the rest of it without having to explain the whole cancer thing. And it definitely gave me confidence to have sex again. And yeah, so there, that was the sexual commentary. I'm assuming that you're referring to, because I haven't really mentioned sex again. What else? I think that is, what would your 100-year-old self, looking back on your own life, advise you to do in the moment? Well, even my 30-year-old self would tell myself not to worry as much. I think I worried throughout most of my 20s. And the biggest lesson that I've learned so far in my life, and that I can't wait for the rest of the lessons that I'm going to be continuing to learn, is that honestly, everything really does work out the way it's supposed to. Even in the times where things have the consequence that we didn't want them to have. If they're meant to work out, they really do work out. And to have faith that they do. And if they don't work out, I promise that later on you're going to know the reasons why and accept the reasons why. The worst thing in life is to, I think, or one of the worst things in life is to live with regrets. And I always try to live my life where I won't have regrets. So if I feel very strongly about something, I will try my hardest to make it come true, or to make it happen for myself. And if it doesn't, and I know that I can say that I've really tried my best and come from a good place, that it wasn't meant to be, and to accept it. And it might be hard to accept it at the time, but eventually it really all does work out the way it's supposed to, and you shouldn't stress about it. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. That would be the one thing, is not to worry so much, because it works out. It really all works out. Who else said something? I think that was it. That wasn't many questions. For some reason I thought there were lots of questions, but I've been dying to do this video because this video needed to be done, people. It was done over 2 months ago, and I still haven't got questions back for you. Anyway, I'm going to take myself out of the bathroom, because this is kind of weird. Can you see? I'll give you a tour of the bathroom, why not? Look, bathroom, fantastic, fabulous, oh my god, amazing. Hope you're having a great weekend, guys.